Alright, okay, you're right. And we are
On.
on. We are on. I was gonna say record again.
We are on.
We are on!
Hello.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, by the way.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Cheers.
Let's actually cheer. You are right.
Cheers.
We gotta cheer with the cheering.
We're cheering on totally different things today.
That's okay. We always drinking different stuff.
I know, but at least we're on the same category.
Soft drinks, non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, because today you're drinking Coca-Cola, and I'm drinking Atole. So it's just
How is that the same thing?
It's not the same thing.
Oh, but you said that it was.
We're usually on same categories. Like we're either drinking some juice or some drink, like an alcoholic beverage, or a Coke together. And today you're just Coke and I'm Atole.
No, but how crazy is this? We are in March, the second week of March,
I'm not ready.
and it's fucking cold.
That's about right.
Really? I feel like usually it
Yeah.
starts getting warmer by now. We're gonna be cooking in June and July, but I feel like right now it should be starting to get there.
Nah, it's usually we're still pretty chilly around this time. I feel like April is when we start getting the consistent spring, and then May. I feel like by Cinco de Mayo it starts getting warmer.
Cinco de Mayo is crazy. We're
Yeah.
definitely gonna be talking about that.
Yeah, I feel like
'Cause
Cinco de Mayo
we-
is when you see the sundresses.
Yeah, pretty ladies. But all right, let's jump into it. So, this past weekend, I don't know the exact date, but it was International Women's Day.
It was Friday.
It was Friday. Okay, cool.
Okay, yes, is it the same day every year? That's a good question.
It might be, but something interesting happened that I feel it requires some attention.
Mm-hmm.
That really, I don't say it rubbed me the wrong way, but I feel like it definitely diminished the message that they were trying to send. So this last weekend, because it was Women's International Day, there were women protesting about equal rights, I'm guessing. I don't really know what the protest was for.
Where is this at?
It was in Mexico City.
This was in Mexico City.
Yes. I know there's a lot of, what do you call that?
Feminism?
Feminisms going on in that country and all that kind of stuff. So I can understand why there might be a protest. But what really caught my attention, I feel like that really brought a negative shadow into the movement, was there was a guy that I'm guessing needed to work or something, but it was passing through the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ladies started pushing him down and started kicking him and just attacking him, to the point that he had to flee and just run away on foot because they kicked him out of it, because he was driving a motorcycle. So they pushed him down and they started attacking him. He had to run away, and they just vandalized his motorcycle, which I found very fucked up. So you, as a woman, what do you think of that?
Okay, so do you know what the protest is about?
Women's Day. I'm. This is me. I'm guessing equal rights.
Okay, so the protest is... So Mexico doesn't celebrate Women's Day as the United States does. I actually learned this last year, and I thought it was very, very, very unique. Maybe not unique. Maybe other countries do this, but I liked it, goddammit, okay? I liked it. Every year on Women's Day, instead of celebrating it, women in Mexico do a march all over the town, you know, Centro del Ángel, the whole shebang, you know.
Yeah, Mexico City.
Yeah, Mexico City. And they wear the color purple, and it's to bring awareness, to protest. It's called femicidio. I don't know if there's like a true translation to it, or if it's kind of just words that we made up. But it's pretty much Mexico has one of the highest rates of women homicide in the world. So it's pretty much a protest women's right, women's safety. Just every time that there's a protest, they have the posters that is ni una menos or ni una más, something like that.
Ni una menos, yeah.
Yeah, so which
not one more.
Yeah, not one more girl. Like, it just, people disappear all the time. Girls get kidnapped. They get put into like prostitution rings. They get, it's a bad, it's a sad
human
story.
trafficking.
Yeah, it's human trafficking for sure. So, so on Women's Day they do this, and I think that unfortunately what happened to this man is a clear example of mob mentality.
Definitely was.
Like, I'm sorry, wrong place, wrong time. I feel like if there's a protest, bitch, move. It's a protest. There's something you can't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that you probably needed to get to work, but I'm sure the streets were flooded, so move. You know, like, it sucks that happened to him. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's his fault.
I see your point, and I will say this. I noticed that a lot of the people that commented on the video, they did it in Spanish, but you can tell by the profile that they live in America. I don't know if that really makes sense.
Yeah, they're just Latino kids in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So by that, you have a very different idea of how the world works. So in Mexico, it's really difficult to get a job. Like, hard as fuck. You have no idea how difficult it is. And once you get a job, it's like the holy grail. Don't let it fucking go, because you might never find another one as good as this. Or it's going to be really difficult to find something else in case you get fired from here. So people really take care of their jobs in almost a crazy way. Even if it's in a very abusive environment, they suck it up because they know how hard it is to get a job.
They need money, yeah.
They need money. So here excuse me, here in America is the mentality of they don't treat you right, they're abusing you, fucking quit and get another job. Which is something that a lot of people in places like Mexico cannot afford. So that's a crazy reality that a lot of people has to deal with.
Right.
So like you said, if it's a protest, move. I get it. That's the American way of thinking, because we grew up in the States. If the fucking highway is closed, you're not gonna get your job. You're gonna call them and be like, dude, it's closed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make it. And they're gonna be like, fuck you, but whatever. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, like,
they're gonna be pissed.
Do.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. They're gonna be pissed, but there's nothing they can do. And there's nothing they can do. And even if they fire you, you can find another job. Maybe not in the same industry. Maybe you will downgrade, but you'll still have a decent income in your life.
Right.
So
you're gonna make it.
You're gonna make it. Yeah. And down there, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So if you get fired, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know the whole story, but it seems to me that maybe he was trying to get to his job, and it was one of those times, one of those boys when he said, "You have to make it, or I'm firing you." So he had to go through all the shenanigans to get to his job, and in the process, that happened.
I mean, I get it. Like, if you have to go to work, you have to go to work. But at the end of the day, it's a fucking protest. Like, I'm sure the streets were flooded. Like I'm sure, was he the only car there? Were there no other cars? Were the streets closed? Like, how did this man get to be in the middle of a protest?
No. I think he was just driving by, but he was riding a motorcycle. So you know how they go between lanes and they go on the sidewalk, all that shit.
But think about how protest looks on the street. Let's say there's four
lanes.
All 4 lanes are going to be occupied with peasants, right? Like I mean peasants, like people walking, like women. Patrons, maybe, would have been.
Women's right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Our patrons, is that a thing? People on the fucking street, okay? There were people walking all over the street. So it's like, I would have to know if he was the only car in the road, if he was the only motorcycle in the road. Were there other men there? Was he doing something to these girls? Like, I'm sorry, but it's your fault. Like, get the fuck out of the way. Because, bitch, it's a fucking protest. Like, think about, was it January 6th?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do? You better get the fuck out of the way. And it's even worse because they got guns. So you better move.
For real. I see what you mean. I get it from that perspective as well. But at the same time, when people do this kind of shit, whatever progress or awareness you bring to the table by doing a protest, you lose it all because of these little actions.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like that's so unfair because a protest is a cry for help. A protest is saying, bitch, we're tired. We demand change. Is it gonna happen? Probably not. you know, like, let's be real. We have protests all the time about school shootings and nothing changes. So I feel like a protest is for the people. It's not like you want it to be for the government, for them to listen to a message and everything. But at the end of the day, it's not doing anything. But I feel like as a protester, as part of the community of whatever I'm protesting, I'm like, I may not be heard by the right people, which is people that can change laws, but I know that I'm not fucking alone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the fact that this happened to this man, unfortunately, is mob mentality. People are tired. People are like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, this is our day. We're trying to fucking protest. Maybe one started it, then people started going, you know? Like, it's an unfortunate situation, but I don't think it's fair to say that because of that, let's say it was 50 people tops that jumped him. This protest probably has thousands and thousands of women. Just because one bad apple, you know, like, look at the perspective of things and talk about what really needs to be talked about. Like, sorry to this man. I hope he's okay.
But that always happens, though. So let's put the example of the immigrants. Because a few bad apples, like you said, the whole Hispanic community gets labeled into rapists, into murderers, into drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a fair comparison, but it's a realistic one.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that every single year that this protest is going on, they always do some kind of silly shit that just diminish the value of the protest. I've noticed that in specifically these protests, because I think last year or the year before, they vandalized a bunch of private property,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they even fucked up some historic buildings with graffiti and just putting like women's right and all that shit.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
You remember that?
In the Angel.
Yeah.
They fucked up the Angel.
They fucked up. Yeah. And it was actually closed. Last time I went, it was still under, I don't want to say construction, maintenance. Because
repairs.
Of the shit. Repairs. That's the word I was looking for. Because of the shit that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever these kind of things happen, they lose all value to the actual movement.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, another one that, in my eyes and the eyes of a lot of people, especially my black friends, lost a lot of meaning was the Black Lives Matter movement.
The protesting?
Yeah, the protesting. Because they were doing a lot of vandalism,
Right.
and they were breaking shit, and they were just destroying the city rather than bringing awareness to the situation.
Right.
So I don't think that this actually helps them in any way, even if it was being at the wrong time in the wrong place. If you're a woman and you're trying to make people aware of what's going on, this is not the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I read this quote the other day. When protesting for something, they'll give them a reason to hate you're fighting or something like
Right.
that. So in this case, I feel like this is doing the opposite. This is making people say fucking women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing? It's like, just go home, and especially in a place like Mexico where there's like a very macho mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bitch, go back to your house and cook for your husband, or like clean the house, or just be busy with
Yeah.
something else. So instead of trying to bring equal rights, they're just making the woman look bad, even if it's not all women.
I don't necessarily agree with that, especially because, okay, like, we're talking about this protest now.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about this guy, but where did it happen? At a women's protest. So I feel like it's bringing awareness to what really matters. Like, I don't necessarily think that this diminishes the whole cause, because in any protest, you're going to have vandalism. Like, it's just part of the package. You're going to have vandalism. You may have a little bit of violence. You may have a little bit of police brutality, maybe, if you're unlucky. But, for example, let's go back to the Black Lives Matter protests. And there was hella vandalism here in Atlanta. Like, the CNN building got super vandalized. Like, that's where the iconic photo with the Mexican flag and everybody holding hands came up about. But the fucking January 6th vandalism, the fucking White House, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just part of it. I don't think you can have a protest without... In a ideal world, you want it to be a peaceful protest, right? Because that's what like MLK was known for.
Yeah.
Were there any vandalism while they marched?
It wasn't vandalism. It was just violence from the government to black people.
But okay, but I mean, there's still violence. You know, like it comes with it. Like
it does come with it, but not to the citizens, because that will be attacking your own. I feel like. Because the protest was meant for the government to tell them, hey, we're tired of women being abused in these many ways. Do something about it. So the fact that they attack a poor dude that was just trying to make it to work because, like I said at the beginning, he's trying to make a living in a hard environment. Like, I feel like that diminishes the movement a little bit, like it did with the BLM movement. You went from these black people saying like, we matter too, we need to be listened, to just enforcing the stereotype of black people, unfortunately. You know, of like they rob and they vandalize shit.
Vandalize shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see your point. I see your point. At the end of the day, maybe it's because I'm a woman. It's one versus, you know, like this one dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know, like if he's a good dude, I'm sorry, man. Hopefully you'll learn, but I don't want to make a competition like women have it worse. Like at the end of the day, we are all human.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really more than I can say than I'm sorry to this dude, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna support the protest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I think it's important for the women to feel that. Like I feel like when people have gotten to the point to because protests are not safe sometimes, right?
They're never safe, I think.
Like
there's a lot of pickpocketing in protests.
There's a lot of pickpocketing
amongst their own. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you just I'm losing the point here. I'm out. The point is going out of the window.
Yeah.
But I mean,
like what I said last year, and this is not a conversation that I had with you, but with someone else, was that if you want to protest, go to the root of the problem. So the problem, in my eyes, is these people are allowed to do this because the government doesn't condone them, or like the government condones these kind of actions. They don't do nothing to stop it.
yeah.
So instead of making a big movement in the middle of the Capitol, go to the governor's house. Go to these official buildings and close them. Don't attack them. Just close the place. Make sure that the people that are in charge of it know that you're there.
That's a crazy thing to say. Don't be going to nobody's houses. Like, that's crazy. Like,
but I mean, what's the point of going if you're protesting about this happening? What's the difference between doing it in the street and affecting everyday Joe, than going to the government who actually has the power to make a change?
I understand what you're saying, but
I'm not saying attacking the dude. I'm just saying protest outside his house.
I know you're not saying attack the dude, but I feel like going to somebody's house is like next level craziness. Like, I feel like going to somebody's house, not only are you violating their privacy in their home, like, first of all, how'd you get their address? Like, you know, like, it's a governor, you know, like, I understand where the sentiment is coming from what you're saying. Like, yeah, those are the people that are able to make change, but at the end of the day, they're not fucking alone, right? Like, the government is supposed to be a voting type of thing, right? So even if you were to protest, one, you're gonna get arrested because that's actual private property. So don't go to nobody's houses. I don't think that that's a realistic or a safe thing to say, to be honest. So yeah, that's that on that. You know, like, sadly, yeah, we in an ideal world, maybe we could just protest to those people, but just don't be going to nobody's houses.
Okay, so let's not go to anybody's houses, but you can go to their office, to the places they work.
They work at the Capitol.
Yeah, but they were not at the Capitol. They were in the middle of, they were in the Capitol, but not where they work. You know, like, not the actual building, not outside the building. They were just in the street, spread all around. So they were just blocking the paths for people trying to move.
Where the actual White House is there a place to protest?
I mean, outside there's a big ass fence around the White House. You can just go around there and then you'll be seen.
So you're saying there should be like a new strategy to protesting instead of just blocking the streets?
Yeah, because that's protesting without leadership. And without leadership, you're just going to have sheep scattered all over the place.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's the case, because for a protest to be successful, there has to be leadership. It's like, oh, we're going to meet here, we're going to march here. Like, there is some sort of system going on.
It is some sort of system. And okay, so let's say this. What's the point of the protest?
For the community.
Okay, for the community to what?
I think it's more a sentimental thing. Like, okay, let's say that there is a system.
So the end goal is to achieve nothing?
I don't think it's that.
So what's the end goal?
the end goal is to change, right? So let's say that there is a system, right? There's somebody that's organizing this.
Okay, so let's put it like that though. Let's say I'm the governor and you are one of the million women that are protesting. If I'm the governor, I'm like, you know what? You're fucking right. Let's talk about it. I'm not gonna be here by myself and I'm gonna hear 10,000 women scream at the same time. You need to have a leadership.
Right.
You need to have somebody that represents your movement.
Right.
Which is something that they don't have. So it becomes what is becoming nowadays. Just a bunch of random people doing stupid things and diminishing a cause that is losing meaning.
I don't think that that's fair because, like I said, I think since there is some sort of leadership, this is, I was almost going to say cult, but not a cult, an organization, you know,
Yeah.
to create change in the world for women, right? There's somebody in charge. There's got to be some sort of board, which I feel like those few are the people that are going to the government and be like, hey, this shit needs to change. They're going to maybe not their houses, but to wherever they need to do to change a bill or a law, you know? I know all my civics people are probably like, this fucking bitch. But like, are you following me?
Yeah.
You're following me.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe a protest would be like, okay, bitch, we've been knocking at your door. We've been saying
That's the last resource.
Yeah, like, hey, we've been doing this the right way. We did go through here. We did the steps that you told us to in order to get this change, and shit has still not changed. Let's protest.
Okay, so who was? Okay, you're saying there's some kind of representation. So who's the if I'm the governor, who do I talk to?
Whoever the board of the organization is.
But do you think they're so what? Which organization? Because right now this is called Women's March.
Right.
Which
I
is
mean,
a
but
broad name.
there's an actual name for the march. Like, it has to do with the color purple. That's all I know. Like, because there is a website for this organization, and they're like, this is not like some fucking Margaret decided to create a march and they ended up getting thousands of people to agree. This is a whole organization. Like, it's kind of like what's it called? The WFO? The
WFO?
Wildlife Foundation? What's it called?
I have no idea what you're.
The organization that protects animal rights. It's got a panda as a logo.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the name? Fuck.
Okay, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm like, it's an organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's that type of shit.
Okay. I mean, it will be interesting to, in this case, see what the organization says about this, because at the end of the day, it will make you look bad as an organization. It will make you look unorganized, violent, which is probably something that you don't want to, because you're protesting against women's violence.
Right.
But you're generating more violence?
I mean, you try not to, right?
You try not to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm saying, like, it'll be interesting to see who these board members are, like, the leaders of it, and see what they have to say about it. Because I would imagine, even if that was my movement, if my end goal is to end violence, I wouldn't promote this. I would be like, you know what, like, what these women was wrong. What they did was wrong.
It's like having a party. Like, if you have a big ass rager, and somebody's bound to get hurt, or like somebody's bound to do some stupid shit. Like, when you have more people, more liability. Unfortunately, like I said, it comes with it. So let's say like the board of this march, right, are doing whatever they need to do. They're like up here. They're like higher ups. They're unfortunately not with maybe like the people that this happened to, but if they were to make a comment, that's fine, and if they don't, that's fine too, because at the end of the day, they're doing what they need to do to try to change the law.
So if you were part of this board of members, what would your reaction be about this case?
I'll probably be like, bitch, unnecessary. You know? But is it worth talking about?
I mean, it got the attention of international outlets. Like, it became a nationwide news.
That this happened to this man?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. There was actually celebrities reaching out to him to pay for his motorcycle. Because, I mean, that's his medium of transportation.
Yeah.
That's how he makes it work.
Yeah.
So the fact that they vandalize the only thing that he has to be able to make it work, to exist, I mean, it's kind of fucked up. That's for him to start on, like, from the ground up again.
Right.
So there's some people that are trying to contact him to be like, you know what happened to you was fucked up. So let me help you out of my kindness.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what happened to this man, that's fine. But like, I'm looking at the pictures now of like how the streets were.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but he had to move. Like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, I feel like it would be one of those things that you're like in a crowd and people start pushing. Like, motherfucker, move. You know, like, if you're gonna push me, I'm gonna push you too, and we're gonna create space. So, I mean, I if I was part of this board committee member thing, I don't think I would say something about it. Like, sorry it happened, but
you would keep quiet.
I mean, unless somebody were to reach out, I don't think like it's that deep to talk about it, because
even if it became national news.
Yeah, but I have shit to talk about. I have bills to pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hoping that that's where their mindset. Okay.
Well, but you're not passing bills because you are an organization that is trying to get the government attention,
well,
so they can pass bills. So this generates attention, and the government is looking at this. Mm-hmm. And if the government doesn't want to help you, this is the perfect opportunity to tell you, "Fuck you," because your organization is violent.
I mean, it would depend, because I'm sure there's like teams for this, right? Like, there's media teams, there's PR teams that are involved in this in order to make a statement that is correct. Because, like you said, it's either going to be negative or positive. If the government's not going to help us, and this is going to be the ultimate fuck you don't deserve it, I'll be like, oh, this is how fed up we are. It's how you switch the narrative.
Yeah.
This is how fed up we are. I'm tired of this man thinking they can just run over us. We couldn't even have a fucking protest. We gotta beat some ass. We're fed up. Help us. Do something. I can control the narrative that way. Or I could also just not say anything and be like, fuck that. Talk about what the protest is about. Okay, cool. One dude. How many women?
Yeah. It will be interesting to find out if there's really a person that is in charge of the organization. Because for what I've seen, and going back to what I said earlier, the previous year when they vandalized the Angel,
mm-hmm.
It seems like it was just a Facebook group, and then people were like, let's march because it's Women's Day, so that we're gonna meet up here. So it's just a bunch of people that don't really have a leadership. They just have the mob mentality. So it will be interesting if somebody actually comes out and, well, not comes out, but if there's a leadership behind this movement. Because right now I don't see any.
There definitely is. Like, I do want to point that out. This is an organization. Like, this is a group of women. I don't know. I don't know if it's even men. I don't even know if men are a part of this group. Crazy. Hey, sometimes you need them. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Maybe he's the foot. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But men can be useful for this shit, right?
Yeah.
So there is an organization behind it. There is some sort of leadership. You don't gather thousands and thousands of women just of a Facebook group. Maybe started that way. I've been part of groups that started with 2 people and now it's a whole community. You know, people do have that power, and that, I don't know, whatever you want to put out there, and people who are fucking with you and they agree, and you can do that. But like, to be able to have a color, posters, you know the route, you know what time, this is an organized thing. Like, this is an event, and it happens every year. Absolutely. Like, yeah. And it's every Women's Day, the 8th of March, right? Yeah, March.
Yeah.
So yeah, this definitely has some sort of leadership to him that has guidance.
It will be very interesting to see. I'm just curious about the leadership. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I don't see it. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe you don't see it because nothing has been happening for us, sadly. I don't think if anything, we're going back in time. Like,
I don't think we're going back in time.
Even here in the States,
yeah.
Roe versus Wade was overturned. Women's bodies are no longer there. Like,
I think that's a whole different conversation than women's rights. I feel like that's a conversation about life.
What are you talking about? Those are our human rights.
Okay, but some people are arguing that you're deciding other people's life. Because at the end of the day, what you have inside of you, it's a living creature.
Right.
Whether you want to call it that or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's living. It has a heart that is beating. It will...
Not for the first few weeks.
It will grow into another one of you, probably. You know,
yeah, but if it don't have a heart, I mean...
I know... That's what I'm saying, like, where you draw the line. Because some people say is not a
Right.
it's part of your body, so you should be able to kill it if you want. And by that um, idea, by that idea, for the lack of a better word, that's what happened with slaves.
Right.
They were seen as property, so whenever you kill one, it was like, yeah, that's fine.
I mean, that's definitely
It's a very gray area.
it's a whole different conversation, first of all.
Yeah.
But let's not even go into what you think it's right or wrong. That's I think it's fair to say that right now that is a based on who you are person, what are your beliefs, and I think that's totally fine. You're entitled to disagree or agree. But let's just say, like, just the fact that we have to ask, because at the end of the day, not all pregnancies are normal.
Yeah.
Not all pregnancies are safe. And now if we have to jump through hoops to fucking terminate a pregnancy that could terminate us, you know what I'm saying? So it's just,
that's the fucked up part.
yeah, like that's really what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When I say like we're kind of going back in time. Like, we can't even protect ourselves. How do you want us? First of all, how do you want us to protect our bodies and our kids when you're not even protecting the kids?
Yeah.
The kids are dying at lunch. Hello? Like, it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't. Like, let's put apples to apples, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely something worth talk about, to bring awareness, and hopefully somebody will step in to be a more representative person to the movement.
For the Women's March.
Yeah, for the Women's March.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like you said, this is our organization and there's people behind it. I believe you, because you're a woman, you're more involved than I am. But me as a man, I don't see it. So to me, it just looks like a lot of unorganized madness,
Right,
mentality. So it would be nice to put a face to it, so you can actually have someone to talk to whenever these kind of things happen, whether it's for the worst or for the best.
But when do you really know the face of an organization? Do you know the face of Black Lives Matters?
They don't, and I feel like that was another problem. That just it was seen as a mob mentality, and that movement lost a lot of credibility.
What about the fucking animal rights groups? What about like people that protest gun control? What about the fucking January 6th protesters? I'm sure that has some sort of an organization, and I don't know what he looked like.
I think that what happened there was that people start protesting because actually Donald Trump said that they should go and protest and he will be with them. And then things escalated because some people
took it too far.
Yeah, took it too far.
Yeah. White people.
I mean, sometimes black people and Hispanic people take it too far too. And I feel like this could be... It depends on your environment, on your beliefs, on a little bit of everything. So maybe we cannot see from their perspective because of our culture. But I can definitely understand why some people will go to those extremes.
Has there ever in the history of the world been a riot in a capital?
Fuck yes.
In the States?
I don't know if in the States. I don't think in the States, but definitely in other governments, in other countries, in other times of history. Because the population feel like it's being oppressed by the government. So that's when riots happen, when revolutions happen.
Revolutions. So do you think that like the French Revolution, people got into whatever the equivalent is of the White House and did that?
Yeah.
Held people with knives and swords and...
I feel like there was a breaking point in the situation that they were living at the moment that pushed them to do that. Which I think is happening in America right now. It might take a couple more years, but I think that we are beginning to reach the breaking point.
I think so too. I think maybe not a whole revolution, but I think
there will be a shift in the government and in the country.
I think either the government is just going to absolutely collapse, or I think the people are going to riot.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those are the only two options.
Yeah, and if you look at cases like Texas, for example, so right now the government is saying you should let immigrants in, and Texas is saying, fuck no, we gotta defend our land, because the immigrants that are coming through, first of all, they're illegal, they're bringing drugs, there's some of those that are terrorists, There are people that are coming in that are raping our women, all that kind of stuff. So they don't want those kind of people to come in just like that. So there's a fight going on in Texas. And Texas has been talking about for a long time about being their own independent country.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
Who knows? Because Texas has a lot of money and a lot of gun power.
Yeah,
But think about it. This is how revolutions happen. Russia used to be this huge fucking country, and now it broke up into these little smaller countries that are all around. Like, our Russian friend, remember her? She came from Latvia. Latvia used to be part of the U.S. of the
USSR. No.
Yeah, USSR.
Yeah.
Which was
Russia.
was back then. Yeah.
The big Russia.
The big Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that something like that could happen to the States. Maybe Texas could break into their own little country, and it will be just the country of Texas, and it will be Mexico, Texas, U.S.
I mean, that would be interesting. I don't know if it would happen, but we'll see.
There's always a possibility.
But I mean, I like back to the protests.
Yeah.
It's actually been pretty interesting to kind of just diving into these protests, because mob mentality is absolutely a thing.
Yeah, it's real.
So it's they all manifest their own way in their perspective. No perspective. They all manifest in their own way in their own protests, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's vandalism, whether that's beating some dude up in a bike, whether that's walking into the White House,
Yeah.
some shit's gonna go down. Would you ever protest something?
Probably under the right circumstances.
And what are those?
A clear leadership and a clear reason as to things that I want to change.
Like somebody that you believe in.
Yeah.
A leader.
Yeah. Have
Not
a
like
leader.
a king.
No, probably not a king, because a king has absolute power over you.
Right, but it's just...
But a leader will be somebody that represents what I believe in and what are the changes that I want to see. So I'll be willing to follow that person to make those changes happen, but I wouldn't just adore this person. I wouldn't just follow him blindly.
Not worship.
Yeah, I wouldn't worship him.
Right.
If I see him doing something wrong, I will either call him out or just stop following him.
Right.
I wouldn't go as far as to believe in him as a god.
Right, no. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the comparison that keeps popping into my brain is the MLK and Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Very different
Approaches.
styles of
Protesting.
but they got the job done. Like at the end of the day, one can't exist without the other. Violence and peace, right? They both, yeah. And I feel like maybe this protest in Mexico didn't have like a good and bad per se leadership, but if it's just one movement, it's gonna manifest there, right? Like it's whenever it was MLK, it was all peaceful as peaceful as possible. Let's just walk, But with Malcolm X, they were like, "No, we bring the smoke." So
yeah. And I feel like that kind of like, to me, just goes back to having a leader, somebody that the government can talk to agree on something. And that's something that I haven't seen with these movements lately.
I guess it's a good point. I never thought about it. I just thought about protesting for the fuck of it,
And that to me just seems like senseless violence. Senseless whatever.
Maybe for me, I feel like it would be a sense of community, sense of I'm not alone.
But you can do things in a different way. Okay, so let's say it's for the community. Okay, so in this community that we live in, we know that every single woman is going to be safe because the neighbor is going to be protecting them. That will be a community thing. And if something happens to one woman, the whole community is going to find out who did it and go after him. Even if the police doesn't do it, we will do it. I feel like that will be something that speaks well about the community.
I mean, I feel like that's where we are right now as women. I feel like because we are now like seeing like, hey, this happens to every single body, like that's fucked up. Now it's like, if you see something, say something. Like I know for me, whenever I'm with my girlfriends, we're always like
watching each other's back.
We're always watching each other's back, and if somebody is like being a creep, we're like, all right, let's go. Like I feel like I've been on instances before that I can see that somebody's being a creep, and I'm like, yo, are you okay? I think that's the community that
And you're protecting each other.
Yeah, and I feel like that's part of it. Like, I know, like, maybe I don't know them by name, and obviously not everybody in that crowd is good, but I'm going to have my guard up, but also
Keep an eye
be
out.
hopeful that if I were to be in a situation, somebody would help me out.
And
know?
that's a good community.
Yeah.
It will be. Yeah, that will be good.
Yeah, hell yeah, it would be good. I don't want to
Yeah.
get jumped by myself.
Exactly. I just feel like, given the example that you gave, if there was a creep guy, I don't know, at the club,
Mm-hmm.
you can have your girls protect you instead of everybody just jumping on the guy. I feel like jumping on the guy will be the last resource.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think, like, maybe because he looked at my cleavage 1 second too long, we're gonna kick his ass.
I don't think it's like that. At least
I don't think it's like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what happened with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was just passing by and like somebody didn't like that he was passing by, and he got pushed and everybody was like, yeah, let's fuck him up.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to give it to the women because you see them roads. What?
It's crazy roads, yeah.
You had to purposely go between them, start getting in their way while there's thousands of people protesting. I'm sorry, but that you did that on yourself. Sorry.
I think they were both in the wrong. I don't think there was a right person there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
I see your point.
Yeah, I don't think it was right for them to like fucking jump him, but like, buddy,
It wasn't the smartest thing for him to
read the
do it.
motherfucking room.
Yeah.
Read the country.
Yeah, two negatives don't always make it positive.
Right.
And in this case, there were two negatives making a worse negative.
Yeah. So.
That's crazy. We'll see what happens in these next couple days. Honestly, I don't think that nothing's gonna change. And if anything, I think the internet will grill them for doing that. But we'll see. Hopefully, they will be open-minded to conversation.
Yes.
We'll see.
It's been cool talking about protests, though.
Interesting.
Kind of look back at the similarities.
Of what?
Just protests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have that momentality.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well.
All right.
All right.
Let's wrap it up. Any last words? Anything you want to say?
Happy Women's Day. Happy late Women's Day to all the girlies out there.
Just be safe. Don't go crazy. Don't go protest for nothing.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. And for the guys, don't fucking go to those places if all you want to do is get a reaction out of women. Because at the end of the day, it's mob mentality. And whether it's a guy or a girl, they will attack.
Just don't be a creep, man.
Yeah, don't be a creep. That's an important thing.
Just don't be a creep, yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys. We appreciate you. Let us know what you think down below.
Would you guys protest? Let us know if you would protest something and what would it be?
Have you been in one of those protests?
Yeah, have you gone?
What is that like?
Did you bring a sign? I would bring a sign. I would want a sign. I would definitely bring a sign if I went to a protest.
Interesting.
Yeah, something. I don't know where I was going to go that I was going to bring a sign that meant something.
I thought about going to the BLM protest here in Atlanta. And then I see the chaos. I was like, no way. And then I see the aftermath. I was like, I'm glad I didn't go.
I would like to protest too, but...
I wouldn't like to protest. I was just thinking about going down there with a camera and just talking to people.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to protest, like me being part of the movement. Mm-hmm. Just because everything that was happening, I don't think it was representing the people the right way. But I wanted to see their perspective.
It ended up being a scam anyway, so...
Yeah.
That's
another thing, though.
You never know who you're donating to.
That's what I'm fucking donate.
Yeah, don't donate shit to organizations.
Do it to your local donation center.
Yeah,
and just bring it yourself.
Yeah, don't be giving organizations on the internet. I don't believe in that.
Not even big corporations. Every time you go to the super and they're like, would you like to donate $1? No.
Hell no. Y'all donate y'all tax money, okay? Y'all are the $1 billion company. I'm struggling to pay rent.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I would love to, but I don't know if my money is going to go to those organizations, to the people that actually need it for real.
Right.
Because there have been many instances where they prove it that all the money that people donate didn't go to the people that they said they were going to donate it to. So that's why I'm like, no.
Yeah, and they're always like, oh, they got a yacht, they got a fucking luxury car and a villa in fucking St. Lucia. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, though. So, yeah, just donate to your local shelter or donation center you have in your town or city. or whatever you're living at.
Yeah.
Be kind to one another, people.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on the next one.
Bye, everybody.